Morning. Good morning. Hump Day, Wednesday. Good morning, everyone. I'm a few minutes early. Take your time. Get your coffee, get your water, your notepad. We're going to talk about a lot today. So, good morning. I'm talking about one of my favorite minerals today and one that is very relevant to our current climate. So hopefully today will be very educational for you and very helpful for you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Just going to give it another minute before I dive in. Thank you for joining. Good morning. I have all 3 dogs out here today because we're having our floors resealed. And so I have all the dogs with me out here in the office, and Piggy is snoring, and so is Hank. And then Emma keeps making weird noises over there every so often. I don't know if she thinks she's chasing something or what. So if you hear weird snorts, grunts, snores behind me, it's because I have all 3 Pingle pups out here taking a nap. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. All right, so welcome. It's Wednesday, September 2nd. Today's a rough day for me typically. It's the anniversary of my mom's death. She passed 4 years ago today. So I'm wearing her turtle in memory of her. And, I try to take days like today and focus on the beauty of life that she had. But it's always a difficult day. You always feel like you can pull through or that you'll get over it or that it will get better in time. And that doesn't usually, it's difficult. But everyone just send a little blessing up to Robbie. She's well missed. Not the same without her, but we move forward. So that is the significance of this turtle. So whenever I wear this turtle, usually it's because she's very at the forefront of my mind. So hoping I see some lovebirds come to visit me today, because that's usually what she does. So I'm looking forward to it. Good morning. Good afternoon to you. So I am Dr. Tricia Pingle. This is your morning checkup. It is Wednesday, September 2nd, and we're going to talk about a trace mineral today that's very much in the forefront of our eyes right now as we're dealing with this pandemic, and we're looking at its evolution and treatment and potential treatments. And there's a lot of research surrounding this particular trace mineral. Do you guys know what it is? I gave a little hint to it on Facebook, didn't so much on Instagram, so I left you guys at a disadvantage, I guess. But we're going to be talking about zinc. Specifically, we're going to be talking about what is zinc, okay? What are the different types of zinc? Does zinc oxide give you as much benefit as zinc picolinate? What form should you be looking for, and why? We're going to talk about the food sources of zinc, and we're going to talk about the research surrounding zinc in regards to immunity, eye health, inflammation, gut health, fertility, hair growth, general wellness, and all of that, and why it is so critical, okay? So that is our topic today. For those of you that do order my zinc or are looking to order the zinc at Total Health Apothecary, I'm going to put it 10% off today, okay? Till midnight tonight, Pacific Standard Time, with the code, all caps, zinc, okay? All right, a lot of you were asking for a special, so here you go. 24 hours, you got it, or actually 16 hours, all right? Okay, just reading some of the comments. Yes, he's a cardinal. That's cool, Kelly. My mom is definitely a lovebird. That lovebird followed me around last week for a while. I think I was during one of my lives and it was staring at me through the window, which is crazy, but yeah. Anyway, let's talk about zinc, because if you're not aware of it, it is an incredibly essential mineral, okay? And it's a trace mineral. So you may have heard that it's, here in Arizona, you can barely find it in stores. Our hospitals are using it although hospital loads are down here in Arizona, really they are using it as part of treatment or part of the protocols for hospitalized patients with COVID, plus many other viruses as well. This isn't just COVID specific. I mean, I'm just talking in general. It's very much a part of many viral protocols in hospitals, as well as in outpatient care. There's a reason why, and it benefits so many other things as well. So I want to talk to you about all of that. Good morning. Got granola in my teeth. Always fun. All right. So zinc is a trace mineral. It is absolutely essential, okay, for our body to function properly. Without enough zinc, you cannot do many of the bodily processes that you require to get through your day. Okay? We're going to talk about forms of zinc in a moment. A lot of you are already chiming in on that. You're anticipating. And I still have granola in my teeth. Here we go. Okay. So first of all, minerals. What is zinc? What is a mineral? What am I talking about? So minerals in general are found in nature, and they usually fall into a couple different categories. They can be by themselves. They can be connected with another, compound mineral. But mostly we're looking at a macro mineral and a trace mineral. Now, there aren't very many macro minerals, okay? There's a few, okay? Calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, chloride, and sulfur are our macro minerals. The rest are all trace microminerals. And these are things that we should be getting on a daily basis in low amounts. Now, ideally, we're getting them from our food. But guess what? We're not, right? A lot of our food is just simply over-farmed. It doesn't have the trace minerals that are in the soil. So I always recommend that you supplement that, as well as with your diet. Looking at a general trace mineral plus your diet, which we'll talk about as well. So even though you only need these little tiny amounts of these trace minerals, they are critical in your day-to-day functioning. Critical, okay? Now, the RDA says you need anywhere from 8 to 11 milligrams. Now, I will tell you, in clinical practice, I would say more 15 to 50 milligrams, and the research supports the range that I'm using in clinical practice, 15 to 50 milligrams. There is no research out there that says that 8 milligrams of zinc will do any particular function, okay? They're all looking at higher dosages. However, the RDA has to take the first reaction that ever caused a reaction, and that's where they, put that level, okay? So why is it necessary? Quick overview. Zinc plays an important role in the function of your immune system and inflammation. Okay, very, very important role. In fact, there's a study in 2010, and there's been numerous since, that shows that zinc actually activates your body's T cells. Do you guys know what T cells are? Okay, T cells activate the immune system, basically, in short. So if you have T cells, they're known to stimulate and moderate your immune system, and they also directly attack invaders, viruses, bacteria, even cancerous cells, okay? They're one of our first lines of defense. They get in there and they attack, and they trigger other immune responses. So T cell response is critical, okay? And zinc plays a very prominent role in that. It also has a very strong anti-inflammatory role, okay? Which, of course, is a precursor to many of our common diseases, inflammation, right? And the higher your inflammation is when you get sick, the worsening symptoms. So you could get just a standard cold, right? And someone who has already high inflammation is going to have more significant symptoms, typically, than somebody who has a low level of inflammation. So inflammation plays a very strong role in itself in the immune system. There was a study in 2010 that was in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, okay? And it showed that seniors who took 45 milligrams of zinc each day for 6 months experienced a greater reduction in inflammatory markers than those that didn't take zinc. Okay? They found that this was due to the anti-inflammatory and antioxidant functions of zinc. However, zinc also has other roles. Any of you with ADHD or kids with attention focusing disorders, zinc, there's quite a bit of studies on this as well. Studies have shown that supplementing with zinc can improve focus in children diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Now, any of you who have hyper children that are schooling from home, it can be rough, right? My son doesn't have ADHD. However, he is a very active a very active child. So trying to keep him focused is very difficult. Okay, now I have a question. How does this work? Well, let me talk to you. So it's believed that the effect is due to the fact that zinc helps your brain to manage dopamine. Okay, and dopamine is very critical in memory and focus. Also, in general, zinc plays a role in the neurological system. So that plays with our moods, depression, anxiety as well. One of the most common signs of zinc deficiency is anxiety or depression. So we know that it has a role in the brain health as well. We will talk about forms of zinc and amount of zinc in a second, Yvonne. Hey, bear with me, okay? On top of that, zinc's involved in over 250 enzymatic reactions in the body, okay? It aids in healing wounds, okay? I was just, I don't want to say frying, I was sauteing tofu the other night, and I put the tofu into the hot oil pan, and up came the oil, and it was a really bad burn. And it hurt, and I'm still healing from it, but I'll tell you, it's been 6 days, and you should have seen this. I mean, it was blistered and everything, and it's almost gone now. I also take zinc daily and vitamin C. I do think that makes a difference, personally, for me. I see it. But zinc also supports the thyroid, so for the many thousands of people out there with thyroid disorder that are on thyroid medication, that are trying to manage their thyroid, minerals in general are key for thyroid function, zinc being one of them, right? The others are also very key, but zinc definitely plays a role in thyroid management. DNA and RNA replication, zinc is involved in, right? Making new red blood cells and making new white blood cells, zinc is involved in. So if you're anemic, right? You need to make red blood cells. You have an injury, you need to make red blood cells. You have a threat from the outside to the immune system and you need to upregulate your white blood cells. Zinc is involved in that, okay? On top of that, which we'll talk about in a second, zinc is involved in fertility, okay? So testosterone, sperm composition, it's gut health. Zinc is amazing in gut health. We're gonna talk about all of these items here after we talk about the forms of zinc and foods of zinc. We're going to talk about the research behind how zinc impacts all of these. So I'm going to give you all that info. Bear with me. I see all the questions, not answering them all because I'm coming to it. Okay? All right? All right. So let's look at these different types of zinc. And I'm going to take a moment to call out some of the most popular zinc supplements and what I hate about them. Because I'll tell you, I looked up 2 of the top zinc supplements, and I don't know that I can legally tell you their names. I'm sure you will know them. They usually come in a lozenge or a gummy or a nasal spray. Okay, so I want to talk about one of them right now, which probably is one of the most well-known and is advertised a lot for immune function. It says on the box, help support your immune system, okay? And it comes in an effervescent tablet, and it comes in a gummy, okay? It comes for kids. So I want to show you, first of all, the form of zinc in these is ridiculously low. I think the gummy had 1 milligram of zinc oxide. Let me tell you something, folks. Zinc oxide and zinc sulfate do nothing for your levels of zinc. Zip. So $20 for the supplement. You have to take like 3 or 4 gummies or something, okay? And you're getting 1 milligram of zinc oxide. Rip off, okay? On top of that, you wanna know what else you're getting in there? This is actually probably worse. Corn syrup, sugar, water, gelatin, artificial flavors, pectin, and colors from fruits and vegetables, okay? That's better than the other brand, which doesn't even contain zinc. It actually contains basically a homeopathic of zinc. Now, I'm not against that, but if you're looking for a zinc supplement and it's marketed as a zinc supplement, that's not a zinc supplement. But inactive ingredients: citric acid, corn syrup, DNC yellow number 10, dextrose, dicalcium phosphate, disodium phosphate, FDNC blue number 1, FDNC red number 40, FDNC yellow number 6, sodium polyphosphate, sucrose. There was another one that had like polyethylene glycol. And you guys, I mean, people are out there taking this and doctors are recommending it. So let me talk to you about what is an actual zinc supplement, okay? There are many forms of zinc out there. If you see sulfate or oxide, ditch it, okay? It's not gonna give you the right amount of zinc. It's just not. Now it's well absorbed, it's water soluble. You'll absorb it, but you won't use it. It's not an absorbable form of zinc. A lot of the studies use zinc gluconate. Now zinc gluconate also is not well absorbed. Now it's better than oxide and sulfate. However, if you're taking 50 milligrams of zinc gluconate, you're definitely not getting 50% of that, okay? So it's gonna be much lower than that. So if you're taking 50 milligrams of zinc gluconate, you're probably only getting 20. So you would have to take much more, okay? And on top of that, a lot of the supplements that use zinc gluconate have a lot of these additives junk in it. Why does it need to be yellow? Like, I don't care what color my supplements are. You know, you don't need to color it blue, yellow, and green. I don't really care. I just want a pure supplement without a bunch of additives, right? And I want it to do its job. If I'm gonna pay 20 bucks for it, I wanna get 20 bucks worth of zinc. Got my point? So, there are many forms in between. You'll see citrates, you'll see orotates. I have two forms that I find to be, hands down, the best absorbed, and when they're used, are typically used in a compound that does not have all these extra additives, okay? Because the person who created the supplement was paying attention to absorbability. One, zinc bisglycinate. Now, if you're wondering, Total Zinc, which is on sale today, 10% off, is zinc bisglycinate. And I'm going to talk to you about what that means, okay? The other form is zinc picolinate, Picolinate. Both zinc bisglycinate and zinc picolinate have very absorbability forms of zinc. So if this says this is 54 milligrams of zinc, you will actually get close to 54 milligrams of zinc once it goes through the gut, okay? So let's talk about zinc bisglycinate for a second, okay? Because it's pretty fascinating. And picolinate, I also love picolinate, okay? So, you know, if you can find one or the other, you're usually doing pretty well. I had to pick one for my supplement line, and there's a reason why I picked bisglycinate. So let me talk to you about that. So first of all, it's well tolerated, and it's a well-absorbed zinc chelate. I had a question about a chelate. Depends on what it's chelated with, right? So whatever it's bound to and how that absorbs is how you get better absorbability, okay? So zinc bisglycinate is one zinc molecule bound to 2 amino acids of glycine, okay? It is absorbed intact, meaning other nutrients cannot compete for that glycine. So what happens with others is the minute it hits the stomach, it breaks apart, and then other minerals can come in and bind. So like there's a very strong relationship between zinc and copper. You know, keeping things in balance are really important. So this actually stays intact and does not compete with other minerals for absorption once it gets into the intestinal tract, okay? So there's been a couple studies on this. I'll give you some rundown. So they did one study where they compared zinc bisglycinate to zinc gluconate and looked at the absorbability. Long story short, zinc bisglycinate resulted in 43% higher zinc blood levels compared to zinc gluconate. Okay, zinc gluconate is out there like being prescribed all the time. So you're getting half, maybe, right, of what's on the label. Okay? Another study looked at zinc bisglycinate, zinc gluconate, and a placebo, and found that those with the zinc bisglycinate had significant increases in blood levels and zinc in all subjects. 6 out of 10 in the zinc gluconate group had no change, or their zinc levels decreased. And obviously the placebo had none. Right? There was another study that looked at this too, and they would measure over periods of time. And what they determined is this: the most highly absorbed form of zinc is zinc bisglycinate. The next is zinc picolinate. The next is zinc gluconate. And lastly was zinc oxide. Now, those were the only 4 they looked at in that study, but that was the order of absorbability, okay? So the top 2 is what we want to go with: bisglycinate and picolinate. There are not a lot of companies out there that have a bisglycinate, which is why I do, because it's hard to find. I mean, if you're a physician, you can find it no problem. If you're not, it's hard to find. So that's why I chose that one. So zinc picolinate is fairly readily available. Okay, so both of those we can get, and you'll get great absorption out of that. There are so many more studies on that, but what breaks my heart is that the main supplements out there that you guys are being sold to help and to boost your zinc and take at the onset of cold and you'll feel better are full of additives and non-absorbable zinc. And that is just not cool, right? How can kids who have inattentive ADHD best get zinc? I'm going to talk about foods right now. So give me a second. There's also quite a few kids multivitamins out there that do have zinc picolinate or zinc bisglycinate. You just have to read the label, okay? Be wary of gummies. Why? Because gummies are usually filled with a bunch of corn syrup and colors, okay? And that is not good for ADHD, right? So, zinc glycinate, yeah, it's a bisglycinate, meaning that it's B-I-S, glycinate. Okay, back to where I was. So, what's my point? Not all zincs are created equal, okay? What it binds to matters. Don't waste your money on zinc that you're not absorbing, okay? It is not worth it because most likely you're just getting more junk, okay? Not worth it. Zinc is very important. So now, let's say that you want to incorporate more zinc in your diet. And this is great for the ADHD question in children because kids don't really like to take supplements, right? So being able to give them snacks and such that can give them natural sources of zinc are great. And they obviously have a lower requirement than we do because they're smaller people. So some of the foods that I like to incorporate to keep zinc elevated or of decent amounts in my body: asparagus, chickpeas, kale, nuts and seeds, particularly pumpkin seeds or pepitas, mushrooms, peas, quinoa, and wild rice. Okay? So all of you go, oh, my kids aren't going to eat that. Forget it. They will. In fact, pumpkin seeds, one of the most popular snacks in my household. I keep it in a bin on the counter, and the kids, all of us actually, will open the bin, grab a handful of seeds and nibble on it. You know, when they watch a show or while they're in school, they have a little bowl of pumpkin seeds and nuts and things like that. You can put pumpkin seeds on salads. I make a romesco sauce with pumpkin seeds. So like roasted red pepper, sorry to people with nightshade allergies, but roasted red pepper, garlic. You can put pumpkin seeds instead of almonds or nuts, blend it up. A little bit of lemon juice makes a great romesco sauce. You can add pumpkin seeds to smoothies. I mean, really, you could put them on top of everything. Put them on top of your oatmeal, right? Chickpeas, also very easy with kids and with us. If you haven't tried my hummus recipe, it's at drpingle.com. Literally takes less than 5 minutes. Great source of zinc. You can also roast chickpeas with different types of spices. So sometimes I'll do like cayenne and, spicier stuff for us adults, but for the kids, garam masala, cinnamon, those types of things. Roast them up, throw them in a taco, throw them in a burrito, right? Make veggie patties out of them, or even meat patties. Incorporate chickpeas, mashed chickpeas into a meat patty. I mean, you can add that type of thing with kids so easily. My kids eat up that hummus. Okay, so chickpeas, pretty easy with kids. Pumpkin seeds, pretty easy with kids. All nuts pretty much have zinc. So if you're doing like a trail mix for your kids, great idea. Great idea to get that in there. And they're all, most of them and most of the country are sitting in front of a computer all day, right now. So great time to be munching on that type of thing. Peas, quinoa, one of my favorites. Quinoa you can incorporate in really well. Now, of course, animal products also contain zinc. Many of you carnivores out there will bring that out, right? Seafood and animal-based food. My problem is a lot of those are also inflammatory or laden with toxins. Our seafood is getting more and more toxic as we go along due to pollutions in the water. I think there was a study, it was a couple years ago, where they were looking at Pacific salmon, particularly out off the Seattle coast there. And when they evaluated this salmon, it was full of antidepressants from people dumping their medications into water, right? So we pick up, those types of animals hold toxin as well. So if you're going to eat those types of meats, make sure they're well sourced. But I think rotating in the plants is a great way to do it. Okay. I also have a wild rice soup on my website. That's awesome if you guys are looking for soups. Okay. So the most common signs of zinc deficiency. Let's talk about that. Think about how many you may have or one of your loved ones may have. Depression or anxiety. Anyone? All of us in these times, pretty much, right? Number 2, poor immunity. What do we all need to do right now? Boost our immune system. We need to figure out a way to support our immune system so that in the event we come into contact with any illness, flu, colds, corona, cancer, tuberculosis, it doesn't really matter. It comes along, we need T cell activation. Zinc is imperative in that, okay? Imperative. Must have zinc, okay? Hair loss. We just talked about hair loss. Was it last week? We talked a lot about alopecia. I want to talk to you about some of the studies with that, with zinc. Diarrhea and digestive trouble. Anyone have that? How about slow wound healing? Cut yourself and it takes a while, unlike my little burn here, right? Okay, so let's talk about these studies. Cool? And then I'll let you guys go for the day. Zinc, and I want to give a little caveat here. Most of the studies on zinc, these published studies, are done on zinc gluconate, okay? So remember I said that zinc gluconate is absorbed about 40% less than zinc bisglycinate. So therefore, if they say that it takes 75 milligrams of zinc gluconate, then that means you would need less milligrams of zinc bisglycinate or picolinate, right? So they're doing the studies on gluconate. So it still shows an impact, but you'll see that the dosages are way higher when I talk about them. So they're talking about like 80 milligrams, 75 milligrams, and there's no impact below that. Well, think about how that relates to probably absorbable zinc. If they would have used bisglycinate or picolinate, they probably would have landed somewhere in that 30 milligram to 50 milligram range. Okay, so just keep that in mind when I'm talking about the studies, and I'll try to remind you as I go as well. So, in studies, zinc has been shown to shorten the length of cold by 42%. These are the studies that these other products I talked about earlier are using to market their product. They are not wrong. Zinc does show reduction in cold symptoms when started at early onset. The problem is their supplements don't have absorbable zinc. They have zinc, right? So pay attention to the form. But according to a 2011 study, using a minimum of 75 milligrams of zinc lozenges, so this was a zinc gluconate lozenge, just keep that in mind, okay? Reduced cold duration by up to 42%. Now here's the interesting thing. These studies that all these other supplements are basing their supplement on say that you have to have at least 75 milligrams of zinc gluconate lozenges, yet they have 1 milligram and 8 milligrams of zinc oxide. Doesn't make any sense to me, but anyway. But by taking, these studies show that you reduce cold duration by up to 42%, okay? They did say that if you took less than that, it didn't have as strong of an impact, but once again, they were using zinc gluconate, so you have to relate that, okay, in what form you're using. Number 2, zinc has been shown in studies to benefit your vision and your overall eye health, okay? One study revealed that taking these high doses of zinc, once again, this was a zinc gluconate at 80 milligrams, significantly reduced people's odds of developing advanced age-related macular degeneration. It especially helped in those who were considered high risk. So any of you that have family history of macular degeneration, or you're starting the beginnings of macular degeneration, talk to your doctor about using zinc, okay? They've also been shown to help maintain eye health, okay? It's particularly present in your retina and in your choroid, which supplies your outer retina with nutrients, okay, to the eye. So they stated that zinc in this study appears to play an integral role in maintaining normal ocular function, okay? All right, number 3, zinc can help resolve diarrhea. Yes, it can. In fact, there was a study in 2001 that showed that zinc supplementation helps strengthen the gut lining in patients with Crohn's disease. So you guys out there ask me a lot about how can I improve my gut health? How can I reduce leaky gut? What type of nutrients do I need to improve my gut health? Zinc needs to be on that list, okay? There was some more studies in 2015 that suggested that zinc is able to modify the tight junctions in those intestinal linings. So what do I mean by that? Leaky gut is when your intestinal lining kind of loosens. It's not as tight, so things can leak out like they shouldn't. So things can leak into the bloodstream that shouldn't, cause an immune reaction. There's a food allergy, bam, right? Or a food intolerance. Also cause nutritional deficiency. The goal is to tighten up that intestinal lining to only allow these little trace things to move through and not things that shouldn't be. Zinc has been shown to help with that. And improve and assist in healing leaky gut. Okay? Also, in regards to diarrhea, studies have shown that zinc benefits children who experience persistent diarrhea. All right? One study showed that children with persistent diarrhea supplemented with zinc, they were 24% less likely to continue having diarrhea. All right? Number 4, may support fertility, and this happens in a multifactorial way. First of all, zinc does benefit sperm quality, so in you males with some infertility issues, zinc can be very helpful. It does also have a very distinct role in hormone balancing when it comes to testosterone. So zinc is a common prescription for those with prostate issues or for those with testosterone conversion issues. Zinc is so even in women, polycystic ovarian syndrome, you'll see zinc used quite a bit to lower androgens. You'll see it in men to support healthy testosterone production, sperm quality. And it even can act as an antibacterial agent in men's urea system. So as far as recurrent prostatitis, recurrent infections in the prostate, all readily helped by zinc, okay? Lastly for today, we're gonna talk about hair growth and repair. So we talked, I believe it was last week, about hair loss. We talked about alopecia being an actual loss of hair where you get bald spots and how hard that is to treat because you have to find the cause. One of the causes is zinc deficiency. Not in all cases, guys, but one of the causes. And for those that had zinc deficiency related alopecia, when they replaced their zinc, guess what? Their hair came back, okay? Also, in those that didn't have zinc related deficiencies, they found that when alopecia patients supplemented with 50 milligrams of zinc daily for 12 weeks, 66% saw an improvement in hair regrowth, okay? That's cool, right? So that's a lot of information on this little tiny mineral, right? That you may not think much about, but shortens cold duration, helps the immune system, lowers inflammation, supports your eyes, can help your gut health, support your fertility and hormone balancing, hair growth and repair, not to mention our red blood cells, our white blood cells, our DNA, our RNA, our attention, our neurotransmitters. Holy cow, right? All from this little tiny trace mineral. Pretty cool. So many of you ask what I take every day. I absolutely take zinc every day. I take one of these suckers every single day. How do you test for deficiency? You know, it can be a little bit difficult because in the main labs, they look at the red blood cell zinc. Now, if you are critically deficient, it may show up there. If you are somewhat deficient, but not fully deficient, it may not. So I typically test it in the urine, like the byproducts of zinc in the urine, or from the white blood cells, because the white blood cells kind of hold nutritional data for a few months at a time. Both of these are specialty tests. SpectraCell Labs and Genova Labs do them. If you have a naturopath or a functional medicine doctor in your area, I'm sure they will know how to do that. There's also something called a zinc tally test. You can definitely do as well if you want to look that up. Zinc tally test, where you basically drink zinc and based on what you can taste can tell you if you're deficient. most people are not overdosing on it, okay? So, adding a little bit in. If you have a fairly good diet, you don't really have a lot of issues going on, I usually just recommend doing a general trace mineral, In fact, guys, you know what I'll do? I have 10% off zinc today. When we're done with this live, I will take 10% off the mineral today as well, in general, across the board, okay? Just today. But the mineral has a little bit less zinc, but it's balanced with calcium, selenium, manganese, chromium, molybdenum, and potassium, so that you get it more in a balanced form versus an actual supplementation. However, in our current climate, I'm absolutely taking it. But always check with your doctor, guys. I cannot substitute advice. If you have a medical condition, please do not take my word for it. Please go talk to your doctor first. My point today was to let you know that there are little minerals in our diet and that we can take that will help our function. And there is a difference between a zinc, Instagram, there we go. There is a difference between a zinc oxide and a zinc bisglycinate. There are differences in what minerals are bound to. And that was the lesson here. Not only how can it help, but how do you read a supplement? And when you read the label on the back, it should not say yellow dye, blue dye, sugars. Like, come on, we don't need that, right? And it should be free of gluten, free of dairy, there shouldn't be any reason to have soy or corn or anything to that in these supplements, okay? So hopefully this helped you out. Talk to your doctor, please, about polycystic kidneys. Everyone's a little bit different, okay? In general, we all need zinc, okay? So really it comes down to so much more than a simple question like that, Patricia. It comes down to what are you eating? What's your lifestyle? What medications are you on? How significant is the disease? So that's why I can't answer that directly. There's way too many factors to be able to say yes or no, but definitely warrants a conversation about whether you can tolerate it and what dosage, okay? This one is a 54 milligram per capsule. So it's one capsule a day, right? You don't need to take 2. Take 1 if it's approved by your doctor, okay? So hopefully this was helpful. I will go in right now and create a sale also on the total mineral today for those of you that may not need additional zinc but would like general mineral support. And if you type in the code ZINC, ZINC in capitals when you check out, you will get 10% off Total Zinc today only, okay? And that's at totalhealthapothecary.com. I have it written on the heading over on Facebook, Instagram. Once I post this to IGTV, I will put it in the comments, okay? So if you want these types of supplements, feel free to check it out. If not, check your local health food store. See if you can find it. I had someone say in Texas, you can't. Same here in Arizona. It's very difficult to find right now. But I want you guys to make sure you're taking one that actually gives you benefit. Thank you so much for being here today. We have another great topic tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow around the same time. And if you want to take advantage of the sale today, go check it out. Thank you to all of you that have already purchased. Your supplements are actually on the way. They were all shipped out yesterday, so I'm looking forward to some feedback. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. Happy Wednesday. See you tomorrow.